just the United States of America.
It was Mitt Romney speaking to the Republican convention, a speech that was clearly met with enthusiasm by the convention crowd, and I suspect will be judged the most effective speech he has given in this campaign. He had all the notes he needed to hit. He talked about family, he talked about faith, talked about mom, a lot about moms. Moms were big at the beginning. He did his critique of the Obama administration, but it seemed to me it was more in sorrow than in anger. He said, in America, we don't attack success, we celebrate success. There he is now with his Vice President, Paul Ryan, on the stage. But most importantly, he painted a vision for the future. He said we need to restore the American dream, in effect, that the next generation needs to live better than the current generation. 5 policy ideas. It wasn't a policy speech, but he did hit 5 key policy ideas for restoring America. 1, energy independence by 2020. 2, teach the skills people need to thrive in the future, talking about education there. 3, make trade work for Americans. 4, balance the budget. And 5, empower small business with regulatory relief and getting rid of Obamacare. Mary Kissell, what did you think?
I think this was, as you said, I think it's the best speech that he's given in the campaign. I think a lot of people are going to look at this speech and say, where was this Mitt Romney last month, 6 months ago, a year ago? Quite a strong performance. I think it's notable, Alan, just how far he's traveled, and you're looking at him now with his wife and his children and his grandchildren on the stage.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mary, but I've done that several times now, haven't I? But this is the scene we've been waiting for, because it's such a, these are big families here. You have Tag, Matt, Josh, Ben, Craig, all the Romney, and then the younger Paul Ryan kids, Liza, Charlie, Sam.
Yeah, and you know what a wonderful sight it is to see such a functional, positive, cohesive, loving family. I mean, you compare that to the Kennedys, there's absolutely no comparison. This is such a relief to see something like this. I have to say, Alan, the journey that Mitt Romney has taken from a year ago to today, whether it be in the evolution of his policy ideas, whether it be in the evolution of his presentation. Remember, he came out originally with a 59-point, very confused, very wonky plan. He's gone from that
from 59 to 5.
To 5.
Keep it
5,
simple,
exactly.
keep it high level.
To the 5 bullet points, because what he said tonight, and this is very powerful, he said what's not needed is complicated or profound. It doesn't need a government commission. America needs jobs, lots of jobs, and that's what he's promising.
If I am elected president of these United States, I will work with all my energy and soul to restore that America.
And
that's
everyone, I think,
a turnaround job.
A turnaround job for a turnaround specialist. But tonight, Alan, he didn't need to hit it out of the park. He just needed to look like a human being that people could relate to, that people could trust. And I think that's what he accomplished with this speech tonight. He needed to rebut the Bain attacks, yes. Other people are doing that for him. His surrogates are doing it for him. They launched a website for him today. But tonight, he looked like a president. He looked like a president.
It's quite a balloon drop we have going on now in Tampa. This is the third launch of balloons. They're wallowing in them. They're a lot of red, white, and blue, big families. That has to be an exciting
A lot of happy, smiling faces, a lot of energy in the crowd. Energy that, frankly speaking, we didn't see earlier in the week.
Yeah, of course, conventions are big parties. They always end in excitement and energy. We'll have to see what happens from here. We're going to go to Tampa and talk to our Washington, D.C. Bureau Chief, Jerry Seib. And Jerry, I'd like to ask you to just give us your reactions to the speech.
Well, look, it was a good speech. It was a solid speech. There's actually several speeches put back to back, I think. Several speeches put back to back. You know, there was the Mitt Romney bio speech, which clearly they thought was necessary for him to give. A lot of tonight was built around making people understand and appreciate a different Mitt Romney narrative than they may have heard before. You got the kind of free enterprise, Bain Capital was a good thing, not a bad thing speech. And then you got sort of the rousing speech at the end that included a little bit of sort of Reagan-esque American exceptionalism rhetoric, and that worked particularly well. They all worked particularly well, I think, compared to what I think a lot of people have seen before, which was a sort of a more stiff and a little less inspirational Mitt Romney. So I would guess if you're in the Romney campaign and you saw this speech, you breathe a big sigh of relief and say, you know, we got done what we wanted to do here. It'd be interesting tomorrow to see how many people were actually watching, because the numbers first couple of nights weren't so great. You know, and some issues weren't obviously not raised. You didn't hear much about Medicare, and the Democrats are going to start pounding away on that next week. And you didn't hear a lot of policy details, Alan. I think you referred to that at the outset. This was not a policy speech, and people who thought Mitt Romney was only a policy wonk heard something else tonight.
Jerry, thank you for that. We're listening to B.B. Winans and the Tampa Bay City Life Church Chorus singing America the Beautiful for the convention. Let's just listen to the last lines here.
Oh, beautiful for glory tell of liberating strife, when once and twice for man's avail, in love is precious life. America, God shed his grace on thee, till selfish gain no longer stain the banner of the free. Oh, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Sing it, everybody. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good, crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining
I think you have to say, Mary, that the Republicans did what they went to Tampa to do this week. They hit the themes that they needed to hit. Whether it's going to be enough, how it will withstand the onslaught that we know is coming next week, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, if we were going to see an onslaught, I think you started to see it in the Bain Capital. That didn't stick. You saw it with Paul Ryan and Metascare. That didn't stick. They've had a terrific convention. This was a great way to end it. I think that this is only going to be beneficial to them, and it's going to be, I think, a tough battle for Democrats next week to combat that positive message and to actually look at their record. They're not going to be able to look at the record. It's going to be very interesting to see how they counter this.
Mary, it's been interesting having you here tonight. We don't often get together in the same room to have the editorial page with the news side. You carry your opinions with great conviction, firmly, but it's been fun to have you be part of this.
Well, thanks for having me, Alan.
Jerry, final word before we go tonight.
You know, it occurred to me that there was one other name that you didn't hear tonight, George W. Bush. You're going to hear it a lot more at the Democratic convention than you heard it at the Republican convention. The economic narrative is going to sound different next week. It's not going to be about what happened over the last 3.5 years. It's about what happened in the 8 years before the last 3.5 years. And that's really the choice. You know, people get to decide. That's how it's going to be framed. That's going to sound different next week. And then we're off to the debates. And as I said earlier when we talked to Alan, I think the debates tell the tale in this election.
And we will be back next week covering the Democratic convention. We'll be covering it throughout. We'll be live on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights of next week. You'll be able to watch it on WSJ.com, but also on all our partner platforms, live on Hulu, live on YouTube. So we look forward to being with you next week. Mary Kissell, thanks very much for sticking here to the bitter end. Have enjoyed having you here, and thank you all for watching.